Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. And again, welcome to our program Kontra Birada dito po sa Radyo Bandido at napapanood din sa RJTV. Ako po si Atty. Mike Toledo, ang lingkod, at kasama rin po natin ang ating partner, si Atty. Karen Jimeno. I don't know if Atty. Karen is already with us right now. Atty. Karen, blessed good morning. Kung wala pa naman, I would just like to greet all of you on behalf of Atty. Karen and myself. A very good morning. Biyernes na naman po. It's a Friday, March 18, and something that we really look forward to. Of course, the weekend, para, as I always say, makapag-relax ng konti at makapag-recharge. Nasabi nga ng iba, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But of course, for some of us also, we actually have to work sometimes on the weekend. And well, pag hindi talaga maiwasan, kailangan talaga magtrabaho. Even on weekends, especially people from the media. Alam naman natin, ang media, ang news is 24/7. Hindi naman natin masasabi na pag weekend, wala mo ng balita, di ba? Meron talaga, may nangyayari, may nagaganap. And that's why I salute our friends, colleagues, dyan po sa media, mga journalists natin, reporters natin, editors natin. Because while I am not of your level, no, in terms of being a media practitioner or professional is concerned, iba talaga yung level nyo. I can see and appreciate, having been in government as press secretary, having been naman in the private sector, handling the government relations, public affairs of the different private companies, and nakikita ko talaga ang responsibility at pati ang talagang hirap na maging isang practitioner sa media. Kaya saludo ako sa mga ating kasamahan sa media who, by the way, sinasabi nga nila, tawag nila dyan, is the fourth estate. No? Kasi very important talaga ang function ng media. Sila po ang nagbabantay at nagre-report kung ano ang nangyayari. Kaya nababantayan ang kilos ng gobyerno, nababantayan ang kilos ng iba't ibang sektor ng society, including private corporations, individuals, institutions, no? Kasi kung wala yung tinatawag na fourth estate na bantayan, you wouldn't, I mean, it is expected that there will be some abuses that will be go unreported, at pag hindi na-report po yan, syempre, tuloy-tuloy na nangyayari. Kaya, it's a difficult task, and I'm glad that, of course, we have a very responsible media. Of course, there are exceptions as well. Pero karamihan talaga po sa ating mga kasamahan sa media are very responsible journalists. Now, nung isang araw yata, nakausap ko si Secretary Panelo, and I understand na magkakaroon siya ng interview mamaya, lalabas din kay si dating Secretary of Defense and Congressman, si Gilbert Teodoro. I think mauuna yata yung programa ni Gilbert, and then after that, dito po sa DZRH, no? And congratulations to Bea, of course, and her team, no, for having this series that will be inviting presidential candidates as well as senatorial candidates, again, para pagbigyan ng pagkakataon na marinig ng ating mga kababayan kung ano ang mga plataforma, ano ang kanilang mga priorities, visions, and kung ano gusto nilang gawin pag sila ay nahalal bilang government official. For me, as I've been saying many times, one of the most important responsibilities of media or any other outfit for that matter is to really provide the platform for our candidates to be able to reach out to the electorate, to the voters. Because an educated, enlightened, and informed electorate and citizenry can actually participate in the democracy that we have. Kung hindi po inform ang ating mga botante, hindi po inform ang ating mga kababayan, paano naman po sila makakapag-participate at makatulong sa pagpapatakbo ng gobyerno, no? Sa pag-iisip ng polisiya. And that is why programs like this, kagaya ngayon dito sa Kontra Birada, pati na rin yung mga debate na gagawin ng COMELEC at mga presidential forum na ginawa ng mga private sector organizations kagaya ng Financial Executive Association Philippines, no? Or FINEX, Management Association Philippines, Makati Business Club, Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce, pati na rin po ang go-negosyo ni Secretary Joey Concepcion at iba-iba pa dyan na nagkakaroon ng plataforma para makapagbigay at magkaroon ng pagkakataon ang ating po mga kandidato na isabihin at ilatag sa ating mga votante ang kanilang mga programa. So congratulations again to Bea and her team. And I understand that they will be announcing more of this in the days to follow. And ako po natutuwa naman na ang partner po natin dito, ang partner po ng DCRJ at Radyo TV ay wala iba kundi ang Philippine Star. Siyempre po, medyo bias po tayo sa Philippine Star dahil po isa po din tayong kolumnista doon sa Philippine Star. At sana naman po at nababasa niyo ang aking column doon. And of course, ang Philippine Star po ay kasama po sa grupo ng MVP Group of media companies tulad din ng TV5 at Signal TV. So it's good to know that there's this partnership with the, of course, objective of educating our people. And alam niyo po, si Secretary Chidoro na tumatakbo ngayong senador, and I'm very happy to know na siyempre nung nag-umpisa medyo nasa baba pa lang siya kasi it took a while. He's been away from the political or the limelight, the public limelight for more than a decade. In fact, siguro I would say 12, 14 years din siya nawala in public. Kaya maybe it's taking a while for some people to remember. Pero natatandaan niyo po, siya po ay tumakbo bilang Pangulo noong 2010 at ang masasabi ko lang po at makikita niyo man doon kung pwede niyo pang bisitahin siguro ang kanyang mga sinabi, ang kanyang plataforma, kanyang prinsipyo at ang paninindigan niya on certain aspects, pati yung performance niya as Secretary of Defense ay siguro magandang pag-isipang mabuti. No? Isa siya sa mga dapat siguro na malagay sa Senado kasama natin kaibigan na si Secretary Sa. Ako po naniniwala, I'm sure a lot of people may disagree with me, pero sa tingin ko po, dapat ang mga nasa Kongreso, karamihan, at least a great majority, ay dapat siguro mga abogado. Dahil nga po, ang pinag-uusapan niyan ay ang paggagawa ng batas. It is promulgation of laws. So you have to expect there's going to be a lot of debate, a lot of policy discussions. Kaya nga mas maigi kung ang background mo ay law. Of course, obviously, siyempre, may mga issues na kailangan merong magaling sa economics, magaling sa finance, magaling sa environment, magaling sa mga iba't ibang what you call this subject or topics no, na kailangan ng expertise. Kaya nga, ang gagawin nyo ay kukuha kayo ng mga eksperto. Kukuha kayo ng mga eksperto na i-brief kayo. For example, kunyari, gusto nyo pag-usapan, kailangan ba natin ibalik ang nuclear energy? Siyempre, if you're a lawyer, I mean, if you are not a nuclear scientist, you will not have much knowledge of what exactly, what are the ramifications perhaps, you're going to bring it back, no? How do you ensure na safe pag like ito? Kaya nga, kukuha ka ng mga eksperto. The experts are the one that will guide you and provide you the details and the specifics. But as a lawyer, kayo po ang gagawa ng batas. Kayo ang mag-promulgate, kayo mag-perform, kayo magdidebate. Kaya para sa akin po, may kalabangan and ideally, if most of the people elected in these positions in the Senate and the Congress would have a legal background. Now, I touch on nuclear kasi nga, ito na naman tayo. Nakita naman natin po, nagtaasan na talaga lahat dahil din sa giyera sa Ukraine. At kung hindi nyo natatandaan, noon pa man, at na-mention ko rin po ito dun sa aking discussions when we invited former secretaries of energy as well as this energy expert from New York. No? Nagkaroon po ng webinar na sponsored ng San Miguel, sponsored din ng Meralco, sponsored din po ng Vanguard, UP Vanguard. No? It's one of the most respected fraternities in the University of the Philippines. Ang pinag-usapan po ay yung energy security. At isa sa mga tanong na ginawa ko doon or na linatag ko doon, na tinanong ko rin po doon sa mga tumatakbo bilang presidente sa mga nakaraang presidential forum or debates. Papayag ba kayo na pumasok ang nuclear energy ulit? Or i-allow the Bataan nuclear power plant to be, which was mothballed, allow it to operate? Diba? Isang malaking importanteng tanong po yan. Kaya natatandaan niyo po, we had, thanks to Atty. Karen, we had with us, kaya nga, nauna dito sa programa natin eh. Sa totoo lang, nauna dito sa programa natin ang diskusyon na ito on nuclear power. Kung natatandaan niyo po, maybe more than 2 months ago, we had no less than Congressman Mark Huangco, who has been consistently, from the very beginning, really fighting for, pushing for the adoption of nuclear power here in the Philippines. No? Isa din siya sa talagang, even when no one was agreeing with him, when perhaps a lot of people were against him, siya, nung pa lang, despite whatever brickbats, whatever criticism na umabot sa kanya, ay very consistent siya na sinabi niyang, pag-aralan natin mabuti ito, tignan natin ulit ito. Huwag natin ding sayangan ang nakatayo na doon sa Bataan na malaki ng gastos ng gobyerno, malaking bayad na ng taxpayers na hanggang ngayon po ay siguro, although sinabi ni Kong Mark, tapos na daw, nabayaran na after all these years. But it took so long. It took so long for the Filipino people to be paying out of taxpayers' money. Tayo po nagbabayad ng taxes, mga buwis. Pero nagbabayad tayo for nothing. Ibig sabihin, di ba? Nagbabayad ka, may binili ka, binabayaran mo, hulug-hulugan, pero hindi mo naman nagagamit. Di ba? Sayang. Very wasteful, very sayang. Kaya, noon pa, sinabi na niya, siguro pag-aralan natin mabuti ito, maybe naman we can actually use it, especially because, kagaya na nasabi natin noon, it's not a question of if the country is facing a looming energy crisis. It is a question of when, and actually that when has arrived. Dumating na po. Ang tanong naman ngayon ay, lalala pa ba ito o hindi? Buti naman po at talaga ginagawa ng paraan ng DOE, kasama ng ERC at mga power distributors like Meralco. Na-interview din natin ng mga taga-Meralco, si Joseph Birada, kung ano ang mga ginagawa ng gobyerno at ng private sector to mitigate, at least, no? Of course, prevent sana and mitigate power shortages that are expected. Because nangyayari na po sa ibang bansa. At pag nangyari sa China yan, nangyayari sa US, for sure po ay mangyayari din sa atin. Kaya ngayon, tinitingnan ano mga alternative uses of other sources of energy. At yun na nga, sinabi ni Kong Mark, nuclear, tingnan po natin. At yan ang sinabi niya sa ating programa, 2 months ago pa to. Ngayon, last week ay yata yun, or even before that, nagsalita na po ang DOE, si Secretary Cusi, pati na yung kanyang Undersecretary, si Undersecretary Akiza, na yes, they are really considering nuclear energy. They are really considering also reviewing, no, and taking a look at the possibility of again operating or commissioning the Bataan nuclear power plant. At isa pa yan ay tinitignan din nila ang the possibility of yung tinatawag na modular nuclear power, no? Modular, ibig sabihin maliit in terms of size, to be able to provide energy in even far-flung areas, yung mga areas na malayo sa grid, no? Malayo sa power grid, tinatawag nilang power grid. They're looking at that. And because of the discussion that has been going on, hindi ko lang alam, baka nag-umpisa yung diskusyon na yun dahil sa pinag-usapan natin 2 months or more ago. Nagkaroon ng snowball effect, no? At if you recall, I think it was also last week or the week before that President Duterte, realizing the situation, of course, upon advice of members of his cabinet, especially the energy team and perhaps also the economic team, ay nag-issue siya ng executive order. Ito na po. Executive order is ang batas, but executive in nature, calling for the review and calling for, again, the possibility of actually using nuclear energy as a source of power. Kasi nga, there is a recognition po na talagang tumaas na po ang presyo talaga ng coal, tumaas ang presyo ng langis. Hindi lang po taas ng presyo, pati na rin po yung sources. Nagkakaroon ng energy crunch, no? So, tumataas pa yung presyo, mahirap pang kunin, kaya ang Malampaya po, ang source natin ng natural gas, which provides 30% or close to 40% of the power requirements of Luzon. Natural gas po yan. At kumikita tayo dyan sa Malampaya, ay according to the experts nga, malapit na po mag-expire yan. Kasi hindi naman yan forever eh. It's not infinite. It's a finite source, no, of power. So, eto na, nagkaroon na ng iyo. Kailangan pag-aralan natin. And that's a good start. I think that is perhaps one of the legacies that President Duterte would like to leave, no? To at least when his term ends, sana man kung sino man ang pumalit ay talagang seryosong pag-iisipan itong the possibility again or the possibility of actually using nuclear energy as part of our energy mix. And if we read the papers today, even the United States, nagkaroon na yata ng understanding between our government, with the Department of Energy and the United States, to sit down and study. Now, because the US, as we know, would be experts when it comes to nuclear energy. We know that. They have so many nuclear plants nuclear power plants powering the entire United States, not to mention, of course, their nuclear weapons, but wala tayong pakialam doon sa nuclear weapons. So harnessing nuclear power for peaceful uses, yun po ang hinahanap natin. So that's a good development. At I'm sure natutuwa si Congressman Mark, no, na at least now, after talking for it for so long, siguro more than 20 years na pinag-uusapan yan, pero very consistent siya. Ito na po, nagkakaroon na po ng groundswell of support and at least a serious discussion needs to be had. Debate, sure. Magdebate tayo, magdebate sila. Babalik ba? Hindi ba ibabalik? Pero importante, nasa lamesa na. Yun ang importante, pinag-uusapan. Hindi naman lang pinapansin, hindi man lang pinagbibigyan ng pagkakataon to discuss it. Because at the end of the day, you can argue. And in fact, by arguing, by presenting both sides of the argument, you can come up with the best possible solution. Yun lang naman importante dyan. So, abangan po natin. That's one aspect that we have to watch out for as we face really a quite difficult future with the recent recovery, slowly recovering from the pandemic, the economy moving forward, and yet, ito na, meron namang problema naman sa power. Kaya tingnan po natin. Abangan po natin yan. Anyway, we'll take a short break and hopefully later on, Attorney Karen can join us. But I understand, Attorney Karen's son is also not feeling well. Baka naman she's taking care of him. So I'm hoping and praying na gumaling siya kagad, Attorney Karen. No? So we'll take a short break and huwag po kayong malis. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Be enlightened with inspiring stories. Interesting biblical features. And insightful interviews with the pillars of our Catholic faith. Power to Unite with Elvira.
Education Radio, hosted by Pia Morato, is on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Teleradio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m., and YouTube channel RJAM News. This brings service to all educators and learners of every age. The program guests include secretaries, dignitaries, ambassadors, lawmakers, professors, volunteers, and heroes, all dedicated to contribute to this valuable advocacy. We take the streets to the classroom and the classroom to the streets. The mystical, the magical, and the occult, made easy by G and Marge Santos on Mystical Buffet, aired every Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. This program gives insights and guidance in the world of essential spirituality and wisdom of the ages. Its aim is to share extraordinary topics to everyday lives of ordinary people. Walk with them in a mystical, alternative, and less than ordinary path of life. Watch them every Saturday on Teleradio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m., and YouTube channel RJAM News.
Welcome back. Nandito po tayo sa ating programa, Kontra Birada. Ako po si Atty. Mike Toledo. At sana naman po ay huwag kayo pong umalis, although we have a few minutes left. Kaya maganda siguro pag-usapan natin ngayon kung ano na nangyayari as far as the elections are concerned. Kanina po, before the break, pinag-usapan natin ang power situation. At yun nga, the possibility, the strong, very strong possibility na ipabalik na ang nuclear energy dito sa Pilipinas. Something that we should really seriously consider as we face a uncertain future to a large measure because of the energy supply crunch and the high prices of energy. Before I leave this topic, siguro it would be good to also share na isa sa mga dahilan nga na nagkaroon ng energy supply crunch. No? Ika nga, tumataas din ang presyo ng power energy. Kaya one reason daw ay yun nga, a lot of the policymakers or yung mga leaders, they did not actually expect that the economy or the economies of all the countries in the world would recover this quickly from the pandemic. Hindi din nakakalain na mas mabilis na nakatayo ang mga ekonomiya because when you say that the economy is recovering, that means clearly automatic yan. If the economy is recovering, that means the power requirements would also increase. Kasi gumagalaw na naman ang ekonomiya, lumalabas na naman yung mga tao, mga pabrika ay nag-uumpisa na namang nabubuksan, mga malls, etc. So when factories, malls, and other establishments are open and functioning, the demand, obviously, for power and energy would increase. Hindi nila masyadong na-anticipate na ganun kabilis daw ang recovery. So it's a good thing that mabilis ang recovery, but I guess on the downside is they failed to anticipate na ganito kabilis. Number two, another reason perhaps is that at nakikita naman natin po, ito po ang nangyari sa United Kingdom at ilang lugar sa Europa, ay lahat tayo talaga because of climate change, COP21, especially, and we all know that it exists. Talaga naman talagang there is climate change, and whoever tells you na walang climate change problem ay talagang that's fake news. Yun ang tunay na fake news because there is climate change. We see the effects. Diba? Flooding, stronger storms, more droughts in areas na dati hindi naman nagkakaroon ng drought. Nagkakagulo na in terms of the climate. And unless we do something about it, it will really affect our country and the world, for that matter. It's really the survival of the human race. So meron naman talagang problema. Ang naging lang, sinasabi nila, baka nangyari ay masyado naman tayong, while we know that we need to really move towards renewables, dapat talaga may plan B talaga na ready. Kasi kung yung pag-aalis ka agad daw sa renewables at kakalimutan na yung mga fossil fuel-based sources of energy, pero wala namang kapalit, paano na? Ibig sabihin, nagkakulang ng power. We're not able to supply the much needed power. Because if you totally phase out quickly renewables, biglang tatanggalin mo, at hindi naman ready yung renewables mo, especially because some of them are intermittent kasi ang araw naman hindi naman every Ang araw naman, alam naman natin, lumulubog, di ba? So pag walang araw, walang solar power. So what they're saying is that maybe perhaps we should do a rethink, no? Let's say, do a rethink. Let's review. Pagkakailangan, huwag natin biglayin the transition from renewables, or rather from fossil fuel-based to renewables, must be gradually done. Not slow, but gradually done, taking into cognizance climate change issues, but also taking into consideration the demands of a growing economy. So it's really a balance. Hindi mo pwedeng bilang sabihin, wala nang coal, wala nang oil, wala na lahat yan, wala nang patigas, wala no. Puro na lang tayo wind, solar, or hydro. Hindi po pwede yun. Eventually, hopefully, that is the objective. Talagang ganun na para clean, and even nuclear. Although, yun nga, may mga ibang tao, they don't consider nuclear as clean. But according to many scientists, compared in terms of pollution, walang pollution na nuclear. Ang kabalang naman ng mga tao sa nuclear are the nuclear accidents na mangyayari. Kaya ba daw natin ma-handle pag nagkaroon ng aksidente, God forbid? Kagaya na nangyari sa Japan po, Fukushima, and also what happened in Russia, which was in Chernobyl. And we all know that if that happens, the effects, the radioactive effects that will be produced by a meltdown, for example, of a power plant, of the core, the power plant, can really cause a lot of health issues and deaths and damage, not only to human life, but even to even to plants and animals. No? So, yan talaga ang mga balancing tinitingnan. So, ang importante, I guess, is that, as I said, no, at least nagkakaroon tayo ng discussion, and then while the people are discussing about it, hopefully, we'll come up with a solution. Again, let me repeat, merong climate change. It's really a problem, and it needs to be addressed, and not to be addressed only by one country, but the whole world working as one. And siguro dapat manawagan tayo sa mga more developed countries, no? The more developed and advanced economies, which actually, let's face it, kaya din tayo umabot sa ganitong lugar or ganitong sitwasyon is sila naman po naman talaga nag-pollute noon. When they were also developing their own nations, their own countries, when they were accelerating their economic development, they also polluted the planet. Kaya nga sinasabi ng mga tinatawag na emerging economies, no? Economies that are still growing but growing fast as well. Na siguro ay since kayo naman ang nag-umpisa niyan, 'di ba? Kasi ang argument dati ganito para bakit nyo kami pinapatigil na mag-develop at gumamit ng mga ganitong sources ng energy? Hindi pa kami kasi develop nyo We still need power, and the reality is the cheap power is coal, although pollutant kasi, pero yun ang cheap, yun ang kailangan namin para makatakbo yung aming mga pabrika, makatakbo yung aming mga power plants, etc. Kayo, di ba, develop na kayo but bago kayo na-develop, ito rin yung ginawa nyo. Yun yung sinasabi. Kaya yung nagkakaroon nga siguro ngayon ng diskusyon na sige, ganun na lang, no? Maybe we'll give you time, but you should also give us support, financial support. Sa aking paniniwala, the more developed countries or the more in terms of its economic output, no? These countries should somehow help emerging economies like the Philippines, for example, fund all these projects that would shift the country's policy on nuclear, or rather on energy consumption or energy generation from relying on fossil-based fuels to renewable. So, yan dapat siguro talaga din paglaban natin na tulungan nyo kami. Kayo, kumbaga, simple put, kumita na kayo Di ba, kumita na kayo You using those energy, and now you're very rich, you're doing well. Kami, we're still growing and we need power. So help us. Anyway, hindi na natin siguro makakasama si Atty. Karen because I guess she's still attending to his daughter. So I hope the son, I understand. So get well soon. And huwag niyo po kalimutan panoorin yung lalabas na interview with Gilbert Teodoro, dating Secretary of Defense, at pati ang ating kaibigan na si Secretary Sanpanelo. Pareho tumatakbo bilang senador, pareho magagaling na abogado. At sana mapanood nyo sa radio station, no? At sa RJTV. So, you have a good lunch. Enjoy your afternoon. Don't forget to enjoy the weekend because it's very important to recharge. And magkita-kita po tayo ulit sa Lunes. Have a nice day. See you.